Rod Black and Leif Patterson, take it away.
All right, thank you, fellas. Good evening, Saskatchewan. Yes, normally we're on TSN. We are on TSN tonight, the Saskatchewan Network. And I know a lot of Rough Rider fans would have liked the circumstances had Winnipeg lost this afternoon to Edmonton, but there's still, the mathematics are still pretty good. A win, and you go to Winnipeg, a loss for the Riders, and you go to Toronto.
Which isn't all bad. Now, the players won't talk about that. They want momentum. You heard Roy Shivers talk in the half-hour pregame show. Hey, we want to be 11-7, so they're going to play hard tonight. They're going to play to make sure they're on a high when they go to, hopefully, Winnipeg next week, and that's what I expect to see from them.
And a team that they've dominated this season. Can they sweep the BC Lions, a team with arguably the best player, the best quarterback in the CFL in Dave Dickenson?
I mean, he is having an absolute MVP year, and obviously a lot at stake for him tonight. They'd like to win and obviously finish second and host the semifinal next week. But even more personally for him, he's in a real battle for the MVP award with Anthony Calvillo in Montreal. And of course, those are the numbers that Dave Dickinson's put together so far this year. But Rod, it hasn't been all easy for Dave Dickinson each time he has played Saskatchewan. He's struggled in. The Saskatchewan defense has done a great job. You know, look at that yards per game passing, 212. Well, he averages 342 with his offense. So, you know, Richie Hall, the defensive coordinator, has done a great job with his secondary linebackers. Good pass rush up front, but Dave Dickinson has not played well against Saskatchewan this year, and I'm sure they're hoping that continues tonight.
BC mathematics pretty simple. A win, they get second place. Yeah. They host next week against the Blue Bombers. A loss, and they go to Toronto in the crossover game. As for Saskatchewan and this matchup, again, everybody talks about the playoff implications. I know we're a week away, but there's a great atmosphere here tonight, and we have very good matchups offensively and defensively.
Well, we really do. It's the game always within a game. Who's got a strong defense, who's got a strong offense? Well, tonight, Saskatchewan's pass defense is #1 in the league, and of course, the BC Lions have the #1 pass offense in the league. So who's going to bend? Who's going to break? Two great situations going head-to-head, and of course Saskatchewan would love to establish the running game tonight. They lead the league in that department, but the BC Lions and Wally Buono, on the other hand, they're third at defending against the run. So a couple of little games within the game, and we'll see who comes out on top. I know one thing, we got a great crowd, and this should be a dandy, Rod.
Yeah, we've got the best crowd of the season, and here we go. Welcome, Saskatchewan. And there's Geroy Simon upfield, and he's hit hard and brought down over the midfield stripe. Best crowd in BC place in quite some time since the farewell to Louis Pasaglia night. And that's where the BC Lions will begin, and Dave Dickinson and the Lions to work. And since we're close to Halloween, in their retro uniforms, the pumpkin-like uniforms for the BC Lions, they are in Leo orange here tonight. There's Dickinson, again having a great season. 1st and 10 for the Lions from the Saskatchewan 52. Kelvin Anderson having a terrific season again. 8 straight years, 1,000 yards or more rushing. And of course, Anderson came over with Wally Buono from the Calgary Stampeders. And of course, Dickinson went away from Wally Buono for a while, tried to make it in the NFL, and he's back now with Buono in BC. 2nd and 3 for the Lions. BC Lions win here tonight, gives them 2nd place in the West, a 12-6 record. Handoff again, and the tackle made by Nate Davis. Very close to the first down. Oh, it's 3rd and inches from the Riders' 42. Dickinson moves forward and gets the first down. Again, the BC Lions have dropped 2 games to the Riders this year. One a close one, 32-30, and the other one they were spanked by the Rough Riders. And who knows, these are 2 teams based on the crossovers. Just might meet each other in a couple of weeks. We are 22 days away from the Grey Cup in Regina, and Danny Barrett would love to see his team, and I'm sure everybody watching in Saskatchewan tonight would love to see the Riders there. Dickinson with the pitch to Simon, end around, but the Riders read it perfectly.
Well, it's interesting what the BC Lions like to do offensively. They will use their receivers as running backs. That's the second time this season that G. Roy Simon's handled the ball on the ground. Jason Claremont's had a carry, Frank Catola's had a carry, and so is Chris Brazel. So all the receivers, although that's what they do best is catch the football, they are not reluctant at all to use them in their running plays.
Look out for G. Roy Simon. What a year. Second in pass receiving yardage, movement on the line, a whistle and flags.
Saskatchewan 98. Still second down.
Nate Davis will be second down. 5 yards to go for the Lions.
Well, we just saw G. Roy Simon on the slot back sweep, but those are the things that he does best is catch the football. 89 catches, ranks him fourth in the league, second in yards, and boy, would I like that 18.1 yards per catch. He can stretch a defense. Only Bobby Gordon, who was with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this year, had a better average.
Now 2nd and 2. Handoff again. Met head on is Calvin Anderson. And again, that may require a measurement depending on the spot. And it looks like it's going to be a first down.
Interesting start to this game. We knew Saskatchewan, when they are going to get the ball offensively, Danny Barrett's team will definitely try to establish the run. They're the best in the league at doing that, but BC Lions yet to throw a pass have come out and run the ball on every play.
So Dickinson with Anderson in the backfield. Brazel and Simon, the wideouts. Jason Claremont in the game. Frank Catola. Dickinson to Chris Brazel. That is his first reception as a brand new daddy. Chris Brazel and his wife. He left for a couple of days down to Houston where they had their first child, a young son named Chris. So congratulations to the Brazels.
Good solid hit by Devin Bush there coming up on Brazel. It's still a solid first down. And boy, you get 6-7 yards on first down. That's really makes it easy for a quarterback like Dave Dickinson to operate his entire offensive package.
Looking good so far, the Lions, as they continue to march. Lots of time for Dickinson. Catola has the ball and looks end zone bound. He is. Touchdown, BC. Impressive start for the BC Lions. Frank Catola with the touchdown. The nominee for the most outstanding rookie for the BC Lions.
Well, a pretty smooth drive to open this game for the BC Lions. Frank Catola, their nominee for outstanding rookie. He has had an unbelievable season. That's his 8th touchdown catch, and my oh my, what a way to start the game for BC. Striving to win this game and host semifinal next week.
Catola the touchdown.
Well, Catola to the outside. He pivots and then works back to the outside. Lots of time for Dickinson to throw, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which have been the stingiest defense in the league at giving up touchdowns through the air, give up their 21st on the season. And of course, BC Lions, the best passing offense, we said who will break. And on the opening series, you have to give full marks to BC. Their pass offense, their running game was solid, and all of a sudden, Saskatchewan Roughriders find themselves trailing 7-zip early. That looked easy, didn't it?
It did. 4.5 minutes taken off the clock as well. The rookie Frank Catola from Eastern Illinois. With a 7-0 lead, and Corey Holmes is back. And the Riders trying to answer now. Quite an atmosphere here under the dome at BC Place. Crazy George is in the house. Getting the fans riled up, and now the pitch. McCalla has the ball and running room. Tripped up at the 42-yard line. Ladolfius McCalla on the pitch from Corey Holmes.
Nice return by the Roughriders. Corey Holmes to flip to McCalla. The key with this is when you get a seam, you have to shift it into another gear, and Ladolfius McCalla is able to do that. In terrific field position for Nealon Green and his offense to try to answer that opening score of the BC Lions.
And from their own 42-yard line, right away from the shotgun. You all know what Nealon Green can do under pressure. The best in the game at dancing out of the pocket. He does. Catch made. Jamal Richardson. And he takes it to the 50-yard line in a big gain. The first play from scrimmage for the Riders is a good one, and they go to a hurry up right away as well. They're not going to give the Lions any time to react.
And the real intangible that Nealon Green gives this offense is the ability to use his legs to buy some time, and a nice adjustment by Jamal Richardson rather, and a nice first down on their first series.
Now going with twin backs. Green from the BC 50. And the handoff. Kenton Keith, Rookie of the Year nominee for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Only 9 games played. Great numbers, though. 697 yards, 5 touchdowns. It averages about 7.3 a carry.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, 7.3 in the CFL is an absolutely tremendous average. And Kenton Keith would be the first to tell you, I've got a great offensive line up in front of me that opens some huge holes. Gene Mikowski, Andrew Green, just a couple of those 5 that do a terrific job.
2nd and 7, go the Riders. Catch made by Dominguez. 2 for 2 is Nealon Green so far to the 35. Another big pickup for the Riders.
And it's great where you can spread out the defense of the BC Lions. Saskatchewan, 6 receivers across the board. Corey Holmes clears out. Dominguez comes underneath. A great 2nd and 7 call. Clear out, let your wide guy come underneath. And I like the hurry up. Don't let the BC Lions change personnel. Don't let them make the calls from the bench. Just get up on the ball, and when you've got this kind of rhythm, you stick with the hurry up.
Chadwick Chris with the headlock on that last tackle. Look out for Shad Chris. Here's Green again in the pocket, knocked down by the Lions front line.
Herman Smith is back in the lineup for the BC Lions tonight. Now they've made an adjustment. Normally he's a defensive end. He's been lining up at the tackle spot, and although he doesn't get the pressure right in the middle of your screen, you're going to see the hands go up, and Herman Smith knocks it down. And they had Travis Moore open over the middle, but a good effort by Herman Smith to knock that ball down.
Has had some knee troubles, has had a pending court case in Vegas. All kinds of things this year for the Hermanator. Back in the lineup for the Lions. Green rolls right, look out from behind. And another reception, 3 for 3 is Green as Richardson is knocked out of bounds. And another big pickup from the Riders.
Yeah, and a great adjustment by Jamal Richardson to make this catch. He's had a couple already on this series, but as he went to the outside, Eric Carter had pretty good coverage, but then Nealon Green again getting lots of time to pick out a receiver. But watch how Jamal Richardson cuts in front of Carter. That's a heck of a good play. And Nealon Green, good sight lines downfield to pick up his receiver, and the Riders have got a very impressive drive of their own.
Here they are, 1st and goal from the 9. Green throwing again from the backfield is Keith. Dances a little, but he's stuffed right there. Baron Simpson, who is the league leader, the CFL leader in tackles, his 89th tackle of the season. Got some tackle leaders in the game tonight. Reggie Hunt, of course, for Danny Barrett's Riders, has 80 tackles and 7 sacks. Baron Simpson, last year an all-star, was a Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. There is the Orange Baron tonight. 2nd and goal now for the Riders. Shotgun again for Green. Perfect so far. Dancing. Scrambling, looking, end zone. Can't get there. Everybody was covered.
Well, the BC Lions secondary really came up and was aggressive. They jammed Travis Moore. You see Nealon Green, he's looking to look left right now. He wants Travis Moore, but he's jammed at the line of scrimmage, and now the fun starts. Nealon Green with some great footwork. Nealon gets it down close to the goal line, but the Riders come up a little bit short, and at this stage of the game, you try to take the points.
And Paul McCallum will come out. Paul McCallum, number 1 in the CFL in percentage, 37 for 41, and he was 1 for 1 before tonight's game because you and I were in the end zone.
Oh,
you weren't paying attention, number 71.
I wasn't paying attention.
And McCallum hit you right in the gut.
I think he was aiming at me.
I would have aimed at you too.
Yeah.
He missed, though. He missed your head. And he won't miss here. So the Riders are on the board. They couldn't get it to the end zone, but they get it through the uprights. And it's 7-3.
You know, the big thing, BC Lions came out with a terrific start, marched it down, nice touchdown by Frank Catola, but very positive for Nealon Green and his offense to come right back and answer, even though it was only a field goal, positive to answer with some points of their own.
There's Catola back. Already a touchdown here tonight.
Well, I know one thing, in watching Kahari Jones today, I haven't seen him throw the ball as well today all year long. He was sharp. His receivers let him down, but they still won the game. So Winnipeg would not be a fun place to go and play next week.
Catola bobbles, picks it up. Has some room on the outside. The exciting Frank Catola and is dragged down. Looked very close to a face mask. Kickoff of 60 yards. And a return of 16, and so the BC Lions will go to work from their 32-yard line.
You know, Rod, even though it's early in the game, I think this is a critical series on defense for Saskatchewan because BC came out and made it look awfully easy on their opening drive, and now Saskatchewan, which has the third best defense in the league, they got to dig in and send a message that it's not going to be an easy night for Dickinson. And I think this, even though it's early, it's critical time for Saskatchewan on defense.
You saw the picture there of the O-line waiting. It's going to be a big night for both O-lines, giving these guys protection. The pitch to Anderson. Hot potato hangs onto it, but then is smothered by about 4 Riders.
Yeah, and that bobble in the backfield allowed Reggie Hunt just the extra bit of time to shoot the gap and come through and make the play, and that's a loss from behind the line of scrimmage.
Crowd reacting here. Florida Marlins just won the World Series.
There you go. You're really happy about that, aren't you?
The Fish beat the Yanks 2-0, and so see what happens. Maybe they disband that team and then win it again in another 5 or 6 years.
Right.
2nd and 12 now, a loss of 2 for Anderson. Now from the 30-yard line. Dickinson back to throw from the pocket. And the catch made by Brazel, his 2nd of the night.
Well, that was a good series. You got the loss on first down, setting up 2nd and long. First time that the BC Lion offense have had to deal with a 2nd and long situation tonight. They couldn't convert. Saskatchewan, a great man-to-man cover team, did a super job. And chasing Brazel across the field is not an easy thing to do, but they get help Reggie Hunt and then a good play by Davin Bush. And that's a solid series on defense and should get reasonable field position after this punt.
And Curtis Head is back at his 21. Ladolphus McCalla and also Corey Holmes. This one is spiraling out of bounds, and it went out near the 50-yard line, so pretty good field position for the Riders here in Nealon Green. And talking to most of the Riders before this game, they do not want to back in on the crossover. They would rather pave their way through the West, beat the teams they have to beat. Handoff, Kenton Keith with some room, spinning, and the tackle after a gain of about 4 or 5 yards by Ray Jacobs, the former Rider, who in the last meeting said he was a little breathless in the game because he was so nervous against his former mates.
Yeah, he makes a good play right here, doubling back on Kenton Keith. Good move initially, but Jacobs hangs with it and makes a good tackle. And you know, if you're going to have a successful running game, you need a little bit more than this. You need about 6 or 7 on first down.
2nd and 5, shotgun again. Green has been perfect through the air, continues that way. No, knocked down. Looked like Dominguez had it. And Shad Chris, he's a guy who talks a lot of smack out there, doesn't he?
He does. He can back it up, though. He's a pretty good one-on-one corner, as is Eric Carter on the other side. But again, a clear out for Dominguez. 2nd time they've run this play. First time he caught it. This time, pretty solid coverage by Shad Chris. And again, terrific protection up front for Nealon Green. He has not had anybody in his face. The Roughriders have only given up 25 sacks on the season. That's 2nd in the CFL. They have a terrific offensive line of protecting their quarterbacks.
And good special teams. They have not given up a punt return or a kickoff return for a touchdown this year.
Oh, you said
they do
it.
a lot of this. Cutolo nowhere to go after the punt by Paul McCallum. Punt of 39 yards, but nowhere to go, and so BC will begin just outside their 20-yard line.
So after a pretty fast start, this game has just kind of settled down a little bit. The jitters are over. Both teams have scored on their first possession and then have not been able to generate anything since then.
Dave Dickinson looked to ply his trade in the NFL last year. BC Lions happy to have him in the fold. I know they announced the all-time dream team before the game, and Doug Flutie was the all-time quarterback for the BC Lions, but they are falling in love with Dave Dickinson. Dickinson will take it himself, but is tripped up. Does pick up almost half the first down yardage.
Good effort by Scott Schultz, the defensive tackle. And when you play the BC Lions, Dickinson's mostly a drop back quarterback, a little bit of sprint out. And what that means as a defense, you've really got to get some good push from your two defensive tackles. At least get upfield, Scott Schultz, Nate Davis, Phil Gibson. At least get your hands up and try to upset Dickinson as much as you can. But he's going to be a stationary target, and those two tackles really have to try to push that pocket.
2nd and 6. Brazel wide right. Geroy Simon to Dickinson's left. Over the middle. Anderson on the dump pass. Picks up the first down. Good read by Dave Dickinson.
Yeah, great read. You know, he felt the pressure coming. Kelvin Anderson was the outlet, and as smart as Dave Dickinson is, it's why he's having an MVP year. He's able to read it. Coverage was good downfield, and he just dumps it off to Kelvin Anderson. A good block up front by Jason Claremont, and Kelvin Anderson was able to pick up a first down.
1:45 left in this first quarter here at BC Place tonight. Kind of a special edition of Saturday Night Football for all of you folks watching the land of Rider pride. And Calvin Anderson on that first down carry. 1:30 to go now. 7-3 BC Lions. Scored on their first possession. But also own most of the clock in this first quarter. Dickinson, who has been a starter for every game this season except one. He broke his finger on his non-throwing hand. Wally Buono loves him. Loved him in Calgary when he was there. He was the most outstanding player in the CFL. Flags go. Movement on the line. Working out, he says procedure against BC.
Still 2nd down.
Wally said that you know, most of the time you go to the gym, you go to pick up your wife.
Yeah, that was kind of a slam, Wally. I read that today.
Anyway, Dickinson is
it's not the way it is at my house. I know.
You're buffed. You go to the gym every day, don't you?
Sure.
2nd and 11. Final minute of the first quarter. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Dickinson looking left. Again out of the backfield is Anderson. Cuts right and left and is smothered. 2nd and long, and so now Curtis Head will come out and punt the ball away. 40 seconds left in the first quarter.
Well, you talk about team speed on defense. I mean, this was the right read by Dave Dickinson. Everybody was covered down deep. You dump it off once again to Kelvin Anderson. It looked like there was room, but look at Jackie Mitchell and a host of others. Daryl Edwards is in there. That closed up so quickly, and there's no replacement for speed on defense, and you saw a great example of it there.
McCalla and Holmes again back to retrieve this punt from Head. And once again, he angles it, this time to Holmes in a sea of orange. On a special night in BC where they honor their all-time dream team. Did any of those players that they honored surprise you?
No, not really. I you know, come at Al Wilson at center. I mean, Jim Mills, Doug Flutie. You know, Doug Flutie. Was it Doug Flutie? A lot of people out here might have a sentimental choice in Joe Kapp.
Joe Paopao too.
Yeah, but I think Doug Flutie's the right choice.
He could be the all-time quarterback for every team he played for, as a matter of fact. There are rumors he might be coming back.
I don't know about that one.
Final play, barring penalty of this first quarter. Up the gut goes Kenton Keith. And that's the gun. BC Lions score on their opening possession. 7-3 they lead here in what is a sold-out BC Place under this current configuration tonight. Second quarter now, Nealon Green and the Riders trailing 7-3. Thanks to Tom and thanks to David Braley for guesting with us. Green, and he is brought down. Once again, Ray Jacobs is there. The former Rough Rider has been hurt by the flu this week. The flu bug has gone through the BC Lions. No problem in that first quarter. And everything pretty much even Steven.
Yeah, about the only surprising thing would be only 12 yards rushing for Saskatchewan. And I think everybody almost felt to a T that they would come out and try to establish a running game. But often things change quickly. When you get down 7-0 early, you want to try to strike quickly. They did mostly through the pass. And it's 7-3 as we begin the second quarter.
And they'll kick it away again. Bursting to the outside. Cotolo, he's been the star here tonight for the Lions. McCallum is back. He gets by McCallum, and he might go. He could go. He will go all the way to the end zone. How about that? Frank Cotolo. What a night, getting some extra votes for Rookie of the Year right here. 71-yard return, the first time this season that the Riders have given one up. And Cotolo, at the beginning of this play, Leaf, looked like he might be nabbed, and then he burst to the outside and found a seam.
Well, he gave up a lot of yards to make things happen and set up his blockers, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who have not given up a return touchdown this year, pick an awful time to give up their first, and Rod Black, you jinxed them because you talked about that early.
That usually isn't a jinx.
Well, let's go back and have a look at just a terrific play by young Frank Cotolo. What a tremendous rookie season, but he gives up some yardage right here. You could throw a blanket over the Saskatchewan tacklers. They all got grouped together, and Paul McCallum is left all on his own to try to make a play, which there's no way he's going to do. And my, oh my. And Frank Cotolo, watch how he sets up the blocker so nicely right here. Little holding.
There was a great block early on as Cotolo caught that ball. Frank Cotolo takes it the distance. And it is 14-3. Look at the block right here.
Yeah.
Pow. Almost a clip.
You know, Rod, on any great punt or kickoff return, it's usually one block, one key block at the point of attack that makes it all happen. And that's exactly what occurred for the BC Lions. And Frank Cotolo, he's done it through the air. He's done it on the ground. 14 points for the Lions, and 12 of them are from Frank Cotolo. And Anthony Cavillo, when I saw him last week in Toronto, I mean, he's not well. He's hurt, and I don't know how well he's going to be tomorrow. He needs that time off until the Eastern final.
They're going to redo this kick. There was a lot of motion from the Lions before they booted that off. Saw Danny Barrett there. Here's a little trivia for you. Back in 1983, this building opened, BC Place. It was a year, as a matter of fact, that the Lions had a very good season. Went to the Grey Cup. Danny Barrett threw the first touchdown pass. First pass ever here in BC Place. Corey Holmes finds his way outside to the 47-yard line. The player nominees, outstanding Canadian. There are the nominees from Saskatchewan: Travis Moore, Jackie Mitchell, 7 interceptions for him. Andrew Green, who many think will be the outstanding lineman representative in the West. The rookie Kenton Keith, special teams player Corey Holmes. And Dave Dickinson, of course, is the MOP candidate for the BC Lions. It wasn't too long ago everybody would have thought that Ricky Ray might be the guy coming out of the West, but there are a lot of votes going Dave Dickinson's way. Aaron Simpson for defensive player, Jason Claremont, who was the Rookie of the Year last year, for outstanding Canadian. Corey Mantika, been around forever. Kenton Keith lost the football. And the Riders will lose some yards.
Well, you know, the BC Lions defensively are thinking along the lines that we are, that, you know, Saskatchewan wants to establish the run. So they really have made some adjustments in the middle. They've got Herman Smith playing at a tackle spot. That's a little different. They get a good push up field from him. And Kenton Keith, although he lost the ball there, really had no running room at all. Look at the middle of that line. I mean, there's absolutely nowhere to go, and the dreaded 2nd and long creeps in again for the Rough Rider offense.
2nd and 14. Early on, they were on fire in the air. Let's see what happens here. Green going deep. And an interference call upcoming. Matt Dominguez there, but there's Shad Chris. Looks like Shadwick Chris is going to be whistled for that, and it will move the ball a long way here for the Riders.
Well, when you get turned around as a defensive back and you make no effort to look back and locate the football, you're going to get called. See, the head never really turns around, and he fights up through the chest of Dominguez, and that will get called every single time, and a good break for the Riders.
Shadwick Chris is a bit of a problem child for Wally Buono on the field. He leads in objectionable conduct penalties, and again, he talks a lot of trash, and matched up with Dominguez here. Matt Dominguez, who's had a good season for the Riders. He's wide left. Jamal Richardson wide right, but up the middle. First carry for Chris Zarka. And he is snuffed.
Boy, Barron Simpson, is there a better middle linebacker in the league than Barron Simpson? I mean, I know there's some good ones. Mike O'Shea's having a terrific year in Toronto, and Johnson in Montreal, but look at Barron Simpson shoot the gap right there against big Chris Zarka, and my oh my, no wonder he leads the league in tackles year after year.
Yeah, if they choose this dream team again in another 4 or 5 years, they may have to revamp the linebackers, because Barron Simpson would be a natural. You would have to feel. Green running now, nowhere to go. Lions bring him down, and the Herminator all over him. That had bad news spelled all over it from the beginning.
Well, Saskatchewan sent everybody deep, and there was nobody underneath for Nealon Green to get rid of the ball to when the pressure came. And Herman Smith from the outside, you'll see him show up at the right of your screen, and Ray Jacobs with the good leverage would not allow Nealon Green to get to the outside. That's the key. Watch the bottom of your screen. Nealon Green would like to go out of the pocket, but Jacobs kept him in there, and that set up the Herman Smith sack.
And Paul McCallum will punt it away. And back near his goal line is G-Roy Simon. Simon tiptoes out around the 7-yard line.
Yeah, and Simon's upset. You know, if I'm G-Roy Simon, I let that ball bounce.
Take the point.
Well, you let it bounce and just hope that it goes in the end zone. At this stage, when you're up 14-3, single point means nothing, and he knew it was a mental error. As soon as he made the catch, he backed him up, let it bounce right there. And the worst thing, it goes out on the 3 or 4 or 5, but heck, he's knocked out about the 7 anyway.
Simon shaking his head. Elon having words on the sidelines. 1st and 10 from the Lions 8. Saskatchewan now looking to hold the Lions and get some better field position, get the offense back on the field and get it on track. There's a flag on the field on the far side. Calvin Anderson lost his helmet, almost lost the football too. Scott Schultz.
He got pushed around pretty good by Dan Payne, the left guard, Scott Schultz.
Offside against Saskatchewan.
BC mostly an inside running team, so when you're watching the defense, now watch 98, Nate Davis, and 96, Scott Schultz, the 2 tackles. They're the guys that really have to try to control the line of scrimmage here.
1st and 5, lot of motion again. From the other side comes G-Roy Simon, continues to throw the football against the side of the bleachers. The second time he did that. Wasn't happy with.
Yeah, I think if he does that one again, it's going to be 15 the other way. There's no reason for that.
Yeah, that would be 3 strikes.
Yeah, I don't know what he's upset about here. I mean, you know, pretty good defense here. Cut underneath it. Eddie Davis, he didn't. Oh man.
I'm actually surprised he hasn't been called already the first time, and now this.
It's an agitated young man.
I guess so. There's Simon again, head on, that time with Omar Morgan. Geroy Simon, another outstanding year. Second in the CFL in reception yardage behind Jermaine Copeland of the Montreal Alouettes.
13 touchdowns he's had. He's been a game breaker and 1,000-yard guy once again. And Wally Bond, I remember saying to me during the season, he said, you know, like I knew Geroy Simon was good. I didn't know he was this good until I got to see him every day at practice.
Doubled last season's receiving yardage already, Geroy Simon. Dickinson. Dump pass out of the backfield, and again Calvin Anderson, and that play is working very well so far for the BC Lions.
And Dickinson is strictly taking what the defense is giving him, because Saskatchewan very content to just rush 4 people, drop 8 back into coverage, and when you do that, you force the quarterback's hand. And in this case, for the 3rd time now, he's had to throw underneath the coverage to Calvin Anderson. Not a bad guy to give it to out in the flat and let him try to pick up the first down, which he did.
Again, Anderson in the backfield, and so the Riders had the Lions hemmed in, and they're creeping out from the shadows of their goalposts by doing more of this. 6 and 7 yards at a time. Chris Brazel. Right now it is 14-3 if you're just joining us. Saturday night football in Saskatchewan from BC Place. Frank Cotolo, 14 points, really.
Does he kick converts now too?
Well, no, but he might as well give it to him because those are automatic with Curtis Head. But a couple of touchdowns for Cotolo. One on a reception from Dickinson and the other on a punt return for a touchdown. There's a long pass, but overthrown. Guess who was there? And so now the Lions will kick it away.
Well, some people would say, you know, it's 2nd and 3. Why are you throwing deep? Well, sometimes the defense just says, hey, this is where you have to go. And they let Cotolo, they turned him loose. Omar Morgan let him get over the top. Dickinson couldn't complete it. The Riders were lucky on defense.
9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Head is back at his 22. McCalla and Holmes are at their 35. High boot near the sidelines. And Holmes brings it up to the 49.
Boy, the Roughriders can't argue about the field position they've had in this game. It seems like every drive has started out around midfield, and boy, as a quarterback, you can't ask for much more than that. You know, somebody asked me last night, one of the Toronto writers, he said, if you were starting, you know, if you had your pick of anybody that ever played this game, who would you take at quarterback? And I said Doug Flutie. Well,
he may be the greatest player to ever play the game in the CFL. Now Holmes on the pitch inside, and he looks like he's got a first down.
And that's the beauty of having Corey Holmes as a running back playing in the slot. You can do those kinds of things. You can change up the pace a little bit and run him from the slot. And here it's a misdirection. Nealon Green looks like he's going to run the counter. Then he hands off to Holmes inside. And that really, once you influence the linebackers with that movement by Nealon Green, you have a chance to get your blocking angles, and they did. He's been playing pretty tough in this first half, and I think you need to use your big offensive line and try to wear him down just a little bit. Andrew Green, there he has. What a fantastic year he's had.
He is the nominee, Andrew Green, the lineman for the Riders, to the sidelines. Jason French with the reception, and that too close to another first down.
See how easy the game becomes when you get real positive yards on first down. I mean, last play, you know, get Corey Holmes. He's got 8 yards, 9 yards on first down. Now you make Another reception out in the flat. Good, easy pass to complete from Nealon Green. You got Jason French. He's out there, and you've got close to first down, on 2nd and 2. So, first down, I don't care what team it is, first down production is the key to offensive success.
Well, it's 2nd and 3 now. Kenton Keith comes into the backfield. Corey Grant to the left of Nealon Green in the shotgun. Dominguez French to the right. And there's Travis Moore, easily picks up the first down.
And that's a good formation for the Riders to have Travis Moore as your number 3 receiver. And that's a good spot because usually you're going to get in man coverage on 2nd down like that, you're going to get a linebacker or you're going to get a middle safety covering Travis Moore. He's the 3rd receiver in. Nobody gets out. They clear out for him, and a well-designed 2nd and short play.
1st and 10 from the 34. Best field position for the Riders since their opening drive. Failed to hit pay dirt, though. Only got a field goal. Green, pump fake. And goes deep. But well covered on the play was Travis Moore. In fact, he was looking the other way. Ball was underthrown. And there's that secondary we talk about for the BC Lions. Mark Washington really has been the lone soldier for the Lions all year. He has been the safety, and there is Nealon Green going down. The guy who hasn't changed position all year. He's had to have a few halfbacks beside him because of all the injury problems. Number of DBs have been hurt this year. Look for Washington to be a force tonight. Catch made by Corey Grant. And gets it to the red zone.
Well, a 2nd and long, nice conversion on 2nd and 10 for Nealon Green and his offense. Good protection up front. Look at this. He has lots of time to finally pick out Corey Grant coming across the field. Corey Grant, who can forget that unbelievable touchdown in Game 1 against the Toronto Argonauts? I mean, my, oh my, what a play that was. Saskatchewan doing a great job right now spreading out the BC Lions secondary. Look how spread out even that front 4 is now with those good splits.
To the sidelines. Dominguez knocked out again near another first down. Also right now the Riders are going to a no huddle to try to catch the BC Lions a little flat-footed. So far it's working.
Yeah, and I like that. When you have momentum and you're making plays as Saskatchewan is, there's no need to huddle up. Stay with it. And again, I said it earlier, don't let BC either substitute personnel or make calls from the bench. Just keep this thing going.
2nd and 3. Green tried to go up the middle and will head down. Another first down to the 7. It will be 1st and goal for the Roughriders.
And that's a great call on 2nd and 5 when you've got 6 receivers essentially. They got Corey Holmes in the backfield, but he's a receiver now. You get 6 receivers out. There's got to be a lane up there for a quarterback draw. That's an excellent call. And it can only be accomplished by spreading out the defense with the wide formation.
5:19 to go, 2nd quarter. 14-3 Lions. Saskatchewan trying to find the end zone for the first time here tonight. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage again. Brent Johnson, Kingston, Ontario native from Ohio State. He's been a guy who's been a number of BC Lions leave this week have been suffering from the flu. Brent actually had food poisoning the other day. They haven't been able to get their full workouts in.
Well, I mean, it was great pass protection, and Brett Johnson wasn't even close, but he got the hands up working against Charles Thomas. Knocked the ball away. Herman Smith knocked one down earlier. 2 knockdowns against Nealon Green.
Travis Moore to Nealon Green's right. Can't find anybody. Grant is there, and it's picked off. Jason Bray, his 2nd game as a starter at defensive back. Stops the Riders in their tracks again.
Yeah, and that's been the Achilles heel for the BC Lions all season, has been their inside halfbacks, mostly due to injury, and they've had just some trials and tribulations. But watch Jason Bray all the way across the field chasing Corey Grant. I mean, give credit where credit's due, because Jason Bray really was in a good chase position, and then he was able to accelerate just his little extra bit to make quite an impressive interception, his first of the season.
That's twice now that Nealon Green has been this close and has been unable to find an open white jersey. Bray with the pickoff. 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Dickinson, play action. And wide open. Wide open is G-Roy Simon. Right up to midfield. Another big play from Dickinson and Simon. And they have been a lethal combination this year for the BC Lions.
Well, I think he really caught Saskatchewan off guard here, deep in your own territory. The last time the Lions were here, they ran the ball until they picked up a couple of first downs, but G-Roy Simon right down the middle of the field. Coverage breakdown to allow him to be open. 50-yard reception for G-Roy Simon. Lions backed up all of a sudden. Now they're in one play, they're in Saskatchewan territory.
Dave Dickinson having an outstanding season. Efficiency ratio best in the CFL.
You know, Rod, you look at plays that really shift the outcome of a game. You got Nealon Green down there. He's in scoring position again, really going to tighten this game up. Interception, Jason Bray. Next play, 50-yard reception. They're in Saskatchewan territory. I mean, you can take the wind out of a team's sails in a hurry with a couple of plays like that.
Dickinson with a touchdown toss earlier tonight ties him with the CFL lead with Anthony Calvillo of Montreal. Calvillo and the Owls on the field tomorrow. Dickinson not done though tonight, perhaps. Guess who again? Number 81, G-Roy Simon. Simon racks up more yardage here tonight. Could get close to the team record for receiving yardage in a season.
Well, and of course, for Dave Dickinson, we talked in our brief little opening about the fact that, I mean, there's a lot on the line for him personally, although he would never tell you that's important to him. But, you know, he has a chance tonight in a game that he's probably going to play the whole game, because they want to get that game here for the semifinal matchup, and that can just add to his stats and give him a great chance to win the MVP award. I mean, that's a tough vote right now.
Not a good night so far for the Roughriders. Not a good day, really. Earlier today, Winnipeg beating Edmonton. Trying to come back now against Dickinson and the Lions. That was almost like a shot put from Dave Dickinson. No one home. And before that, he was 9 of 10 passing for 130 yards and a touchdown already.
He's been pretty smooth here in this first half, Rod. No mistakes in the 2 games that he played against Saskatchewan earlier. He threw a couple of interceptions in the 2 losses, both at Taylor Field, and had a couple of touchdowns to go with that. But tonight so far, a pretty error-free first half for Dave Dickinson and his #1 rated offense.
You see the glove on the one hand. He's not a Michael Jackson tribute or anything. Of course, that was he had a broken finger on that hand, and so his throwing hand, he goes barehanded, and he will throw again. And will run. And fumbles the football. Saskatchewan's ball.
Good break for the Roughriders to stop the BC Lions. 14-3 here in the second quarter, winding down, and good hit.
Davin Bush picks up the loose ball. Dave Dickinson had a couple of receivers open and then decided to move out.
Well, it was a hit by Reggie Hunt that knocked the ball loose, and then Davin Bush with the recovery. And again, you know, we've had a lot of little momentum swings in this game, and hopefully the Riders can take advantage of this. They've done it well all year. They're +10 on the takeaway giveaway ratio, and they really need to take advantage of this takeaway and get some points before halftime.
Yes, they do. 2.5 to go before the second quarter gun. Well, he's got the perfect nickname. He was such an important part of BC Lion football in the 70s. Nice to see some of the old players back here tonight. Some of the heroes. Zarka on the receiving end and bowls his way. Yes. Bulldozes for a first down, and they'll move the yardsticks.
I'll tell you, Carl Kidd's a pretty tough linebacker, and he was over there when Zarka came around the corner, and that was quite a collision. And you know, Chris Zarka, nothing better. I mean, he's not going to get fancy. He's going to just try to run you over. Good read by Nealon Green, dumping it off to his big fullback. And here's the fun here.
14-3 Lions. Just over 2 minutes to play. Saskatchewan trying to find the end zone. Make this a ball game at halftime. And Nealon Green having to dance and picks up 6 or 7 yards on that play.
Yeah, I think that was a broken play. That didn't look good from the start.
Could you have worn one of those visors when you played, those dark masks? As a receiver, you see some of those players.
Donnie Blair, does he still wear his in Calgary? Yeah, no, I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I never had the access to one.
It would be hard if you're a tackler and looking at a player's eyes to find the player's eyes.
Maybe that's why they wear it.
Yeah, maybe. Travis Moore. Another Saskatchewan first down. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Well, Saskatchewan's had no difficulty moving the ball in this second quarter. They've just got to take advantage of some opportunities and get some points before halftime. They got the fumble recovery by Devin Bush on the hit on Dave Dickinson, and now Danny Barrett's team has to have the discipline to take advantage of it and add to their 3-point total so far.
Danny Barrett says he wants his team to get to 11 wins. He said that would be perfect. Win tonight would make it 11-7. And yeah, you know, if you're kind of thinking along the lines of your best path perhaps to get to the Grey Cup game, you might think that it might be on a crossover going to the east, but that's not in their minds.
No, and I asked the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a logical question. I'm sure there are people in Saskatchewan thinking the same thing.
Sure, but all the players, I mean, players play, and you play to win. You don't play this game to lose. So
Corey Grant's playing. Catch and tackled at the 30.
And lots of time remaining. 1:47 to go in the second quarter. A good drive once again put together by Nealon Green. The only difficulty they've had tonight is when they've been in the red zone, they just haven't converted. But boy, once again, the key is to spread that BC Lion defense out. It creates all kinds of seams and openings. The Riders have found them all throughout this first half. They just have to capitalize.
Jamal Richardson is wide right.
Safety
Nealon
blitz.
Green blitz is on. Dominguez the catch on the short side. And again, about half the first down yardage.
Not bad, not bad. You take advantage when you see the blitz coming. The safety, Jason Crum, was coming out of the middle. That means you got to get rid of the ball quickly. Dominguez was looking. Nealon Green found him. It was only 5 yards, but it was a positive play against a blitzing defense.
A pass defense that is 6th in the CFL. Nealon Green shouting instructions out. They've been going to the no huddle quite a bit. 2nd and 5. Green. Catch to Holmes. And again, another first down for Saskatchewan.
Well, they've really had success with that play tonight where they clear out and the third receiver in just goes to the flat after the clear out, and Nealon Green's completed at least 5 balls in that kind of a formation.
Shad Chris there was a DB that was victimized.
Marcel Belfay calling the plays from the sidelines.
1st and 10 from the 18. Can they find the end zone from the red zone this time? Green fires. Catch made. Dominguez.
Now he should be close to a first down too. Matt Dominguez, a former tight end with the Denver Broncos, slimmed down to play wide receiver. He's a great target at 6'3", and he's had a good first half. And Nealon Green has been in such a good rhythm here in the second quarter. His only blemish has been the fact that he just hasn't had any points out of it.
Will he look for Dominguez again? Keith is in the backfield. Green has a path. Dives. Touchdown.
Good call. Great call.
And he flexes. And the Riders find the end zone.
It's a good call because he once again spread the defense out, faked the run inside with Kenton Keith that holds the linebackers just long enough that Nealon Green's speed can get him to the outside, but it's the whole formation that makes it work. You spread them all out, you fake inside, freezes the linebackers, and then a pretty easy romp into the end zone for Nealon Green, and he finally converts. They get 7 points off the turnover. That's a good thing.
And right in this ball game, BC Lions for a while looked like they were very much in control as the Riders could not find the end zone from first and goal situations. Were sputtering down there, and now this time they have gotten the monkey off their back. 45 seconds to go. Second quarter, and Mo is now with Saskatchewan.
Mo is kind of changing back and forth. Good look here from the end zone, and watch, you see Barron Simpson in the middle, 51. See, he's chasing Ken Keith. He still thinks he's got the football, and that's what happens when you spread them out. You fake inside, freezes the linebackers, and boom, it's pretty easy into the end zone.
That is the most running room that Nealon Green has seen here tonight. The best path.
Yeah, you saw Brent Johnson, 97. He's a defensive end. He thought it was going inside. So great ball handling, great play fake, and you know, boy, did Saskatchewan's offense need that just to take advantage of the fumble by Dickinson and get some points. And all of a sudden, we got a real close game again.
Nealon Green's demeanor has changed as well from a few minutes ago, and he looked a little perplexed. Danny Barrett likes what he sees right now, and the Riders will kick this off with 45 seconds to go. Got pooch one down there. And G. Simon, always a busy guy, will bring it to the 40. 39 seconds. Enough time for Dave Dickinson to go to work again.
It really is 39, and I mean, they've got good field position. They're out at the 40-yard line. So Curtis Head having a terrific year, 41 of 53 on field goals. So you know he's very proficient. He's got a longest of 54. He's indoors. Pretty conducive place to kick. So Dickinson, he needs, I'd say, a good 25 yards here to have a reasonable shot, which is not a lot of yards for him with 39 seconds to go.
Their biggest play from scrimmage, a 50-yarder with G. Simon. And that is the rookie for the BC Lions, Paris Jackson, out of Carson Graham's secondary. And the BC was with the Buffalo Bills in their camp this year before being released, so he's a Vancouver product. Getting a chance to play. Again, they've had some injury problems. Ryan Thelwell is hurt heading to the postseason. Dickinson, Jackson was open down the sideline. Dickinson will eat it. And that was on 2nd and 3, and it looks like he might have lost a yard or two. 19 seconds to go.
So now 3rd down, 19 seconds. What do? I think you got to punt it away.
Dickinson staying out there, and he's going to huddle with the team.
Well, unless Saskatchewan, well, Saskatchewan's got to call a timeout here, so they can't just run the clock.
And the clock is running down to 10. Well, and they will run it out.
Well, I can't recall if they used their timeout, because what you really should do is call a timeout and make BC punt.
Well, it's an interesting game heading into the second half. Lions owned the first part, 2 touchdowns from Frank Catolo. But the Riders rally back behind Nealon Green. Dave Dickinson and Nealon Green with very similar numbers so far here tonight. A win by BC, they get 2nd place. A win by Saskatchewan, they go to Winnipeg for the West semifinal next week. Some big playoff implications hanging in the balance here tonight. Let's go down to Farhan Lalji. Farhan?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Danny Barrett. And Danny, just some thoughts on how important that last touchdown was to your team.
Oh, it was huge. You know, we've been down there 3 times, and we've only got points twice. You know, we had a sack. One took us out of field goal range and the interception. But the guys are keeping their composure, and that's the key. So now we need to go in at halftime. We're going to get the ball coming out the second half, which is going to be a plus for us.
Did the results with Winnipeg and Edmonton affect this team at all in the first quarter, knowing that that chance of playing at home is no longer there?
Not at all. You know, we came out with some intensity. We know we're playing a good football team here. They got more on the line because it's a chance for them to host a home playoff game. But for us to get 11 wins is going to be huge, and that's what we plan to do.
You got to be pleased with the play of your defense. Just 1 touchdown allowed. They've bent, but they haven't broken at all in this half.
Exactly right. And now we just need to shore up our special teams and now allow that to take place again in the second half.
Coach, good luck in the second.
Thank you very much.
It's our brass band, Smart John. He'll be playing forever.
halftime stats here. Let's take a look at them here and see what's happening in this game. First downs, 12-10. Saskatchewan 12, BC 10. Time of possession almost even there, Greg.
Coach, just some thoughts on the first half. Saskatchewan got a little bit of momentum at the end there.
Well, like I say, we gave them the fumble, which was probably a 10-point turnaround because we were going to go in and probably at least kick a field goal. But it's a tough game like we expected, and hopefully the second half goes our way.
Nealon started to get into his rhythm later in that quarter, in the second quarter. Did you do anything differently to contain him?
Well, obviously, we got to change things up on him, and the more we could do that, the better it's going to be.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Yeah.
So here we go. 14-10, BC Lions will kick off here to start the third quarter. Corey Grant, Corey Holmes are back. The two Coreys, this one it's Holmes. Already had a run back tonight by Cutolo. And Holmes breaks one to the 48-yard line of the BC Lions. And a good start. The Saskatchewan Roughriders certainly cannot complain about their starting field position for the most part.
My, oh my, it seems like every series they began in the first half was around midfield, and this time they begin the third quarter at the 47-yard line of the BC Lions.
Think the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to run the football a little more in this second half?
Well, 14-10. I mean, gosh, you're down 4 points. Your offense has really been clicking. And, you know, maybe this is one of those nights they just don't get the running game going. They've only had 42 yards in the first half, and they try it early, though.
Kenton Keefe swallowed up there. It seems, though, that Wally Bono and the BC Lions have really keyed. And even we talked to Wally before tonight's game. He didn't have much time to talk with us, but the first thing is that Stop the run. Stop the run.
Stop the run.
Well, they've been keying on that.
And you know what? Sometimes that's going to happen. They're going to take your strength away, a team. And when they do that, you have to be ready to go to plan B. And I think for the most part in the second quarter, the Roughriders did a great job of going to plan B. And they threw those underneath patterns very, very well. And I think they're offside right here.
Travis Moore was, I'd say, about 6 yards offside. And whether that...
Corey Holmes followed him.
And so that will move the ball back even more, and it will mean second and long for the Roughriders. Great passing numbers for both quarterbacks in the first half. Nealon Green 14 of 19 for 157. Dickinson also very sharp.
Both quarterbacks with no interceptions, each with a touchdown. One interception rather for Nealon Green. Jason Bray down on the goal line snuffed that one drive. I'll stand corrected.
Green, nice catch made by Corey Grant, and then is brought down by Jason Bray.
Well, terrific catch. Unfortunately, not enough for the first down. Nealon Green looking to his right all the way, and Corey Grant with a nice grab there, but super coverage really by the BC Lions secondary.
This would be a rather lengthy field goal from here. McCallum will punt it away. Paul McCallum told us before the game he doesn't really like this place for kicking it, does he?
Yeah, I know. I don't really understand it. He didn't like the field goal. He said the ball really moves funny in here, and I mean, I don't feel a heck of a lot of airflow, but I mean, kickers are crazy anyway. So
you're just saying that because he hit you in the
no,
pregame.
I'm not saying
yeah,
that.
You are.
No. It's my pal now.
And that was a good punt there by Paul McCallum. Took it to the 10-yard line, and Geroy Simon had nowhere to go.
Thank you so much, and we congratulate you and the Rough Rider organization at all the terrific work. If every team worked as hard to promote their product as you do, the league would never have a care in the world. So our congratulations to you and everybody at the Rider executive.
I already got my dream tonight, a hug from Tommy Shep. I got a dream too.
I got crushed.
There's the number, folks. 1-800-668-1999.
Geez, the kicker hits me in the warm-up. The former president squishes me up here in the booth. It's been a tough night. Playing was a lot easier than this. I could go out of bounds.
You really seriously, though, in that pregame.
Oh, I got
nailed. Came very close to getting it either in the head or in even a more precarious position.
I'd have been singing in the Vienna Boys Choir. It'd have been a little lower.
2nd and 10 here for Dickinson and Lions, leading by 4 on his goal line. Tiptoes there and takes off, and some room. Has a first down. Every time the Riders have hemmed the Lions close to their goalpost, Dickinson's been able to get that offense in gear and get them some first down yardage.
Well, and Dave Dickinson knows as well as any quarterback in the league that every once in a while you're going to have to use your legs to generate first downs, and backed up deep in his own territory. He's not going to take a chance at throwing it up. Good coverage downfield, and he did a terrific job running the football. You know, he averages close to 8 yards a carry this year, and that's I think that's a pretty high average for a guy that most people think doesn't like to run the football much.
Now from his 26. Blitz comes, reads it perfectly, and the first catch tonight by Jason Claremont. And some heavy hitting going on down the sidelines. Last year's Rookie of the Year.
Jason Claremont's really beefed himself up. Look at the arms on this guy. 6'4", about 230, and little play action really doesn't fool anybody. Reggie Hunt coming on the blitz, picked up quite nicely there by Kelvin Anderson. Gives Dickinson just enough time to complete, and what a collision downfield by McCalla. Jason Claremont deciding just to run over people.
Claremont, of course, as you Rider fans know, born and raised in Regina. Saskatchewan star, growing up playing football, playing on the West Coast.
One of the tough things, if you're the Rider defense tonight, they've had BC pinned deep a couple of times and have really let them work their way out of the shadow of their own goalposts. And you know, as an offense, and Steve Barato's the offensive coordinator for BC, you got to be just thrilled, because this game's all the game is a game of field position, and each time BC's been backed up, they've been able to get themselves out of trouble, partly because of the numbers you saw on Dickinson, 12 of 14. There's Steve Barato, great job as their offensive coordinator.
Another one of the coaches with a Saskatchewan connection. Cutolo down the sidelines. He was the weapon in the first half, whether it was on the receiving end of a Dickinson toss or on a punt return. But he was overthrown there, and so BC will kick it away again. McCalla and Corey Holmes will bring the ball back for Saskatchewan. And the Riders now another opportunity to go ahead in this ballgame. Again, if you're just joining us, a win by BC, they get 2nd place tonight. A win by Saskatchewan, they get 3rd. The loser will play in the crossover game and go to the east. Holmes in traffic.
Again, good field position though for Nealon Green and his offense over the 40-yard line.
BC Lions leading 14-10. Nealon Green back at work after this brief timeout. Nealon Green just stands in. Dominguez with some room. Matt Dominguez needs 4 Lions to bring him down, and a huge pickup of 21 yards.
And Nealon Green taking advantage of a BC secondary that really has middle safety Mark Washington playing on the outside halfback spot. Now they're in a zone, and he really has to slide out underneath the wide receiver. He just does not get out there quickly enough, and Dominguez with an easy catch. A good read by Nealon Green. He went to the right spot and really taking advantage of a BC secondary that's really had to fill some holes tonight.
4th catch of the night for Dominguez. Nealon Green loses the football. Barron Simpson has it. Simpson still on his feet. Just when the Riders looked like they were going to carry it to pay dirt, Barron Simpson picks up a fumbled football. The Orange Baron strikes again.
Well, it really didn't look initially like anybody hit Nealon Green. It was a good call. Spread out again. The quarterback draw is always a good safe play to run against a defense that spreads. And here he goes. And now it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. And Barron Simpson with the recovery. 2nd turnover of the night for the Rough Rider offense that really has been so good in their 2 wins previously against BC at not turning the ball over.
Yeah, it looked like a lineman just got a hand on it, or was it one of the blitzing Lions? Anyway, it's BC football There is a flag on the field at the far side. It probably came after the play, and it might be a roughing call. Baron Simpson, such an important part, and let's get the officials ruling right here.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC 21. It was after the play, first down.
That's Shadwick Chris. The ball would have been at midfield. Instead, it's back at the 41. 14-10 Lions. Play action again. Cutolo again. He's not the biggest guy in the world, Lee, Frank Cutolo, but finds openings and you know, those yak yards, those yards after catch.
You got it. He's one of these guys, not very big, but sneaky when he catches the football. He's had a terrific night tonight with a couple of touchdowns, and you see once again he gets Big Dan Payne, number 57, out in front. Dan really doesn't get too many people, but nevertheless a great 9-yard pickup on first down.
Dan Payne, who has been around 4 Grey Cup championships, number 57. 8 minutes to go, third quarter. Calvin Anderson with a couple of yards.
You know, we talk about Dan Payne being the only member from that '89 Grey Cup team. A bunch of us were together last night watching the Argo game at Skydome, and talking about memorable Grey Cups, and for me, '89 was the best one I ever saw.
Oh, that wasn't that great. '89 was a great one. Think about '94 for BC as well, and Louis Passaglia. Both of those, and you know, both decided by kickers. Very interesting.
Well, Dave Ridgway with the big kick in that game, elected to the Hall of Fame this year.
Dickinson in trouble. Loses the football.
A loose ball.
Picked up. Terrence Melton.
Whoa.
To Jackie Mitchell. Mitchell still with the football. Jackie Mitchell on his feet and room. No flags on the play. And there's a wrestling match at the 50-yard line. Saskatchewan picks up the football. Melton to Mitchell. After Dickinson lost it, it will be Saskatchewan ball at the 16-yard line.
I believe it was Shante Peoples, the defensive end, number 58, came around the corner as Dickinson scrambled. He was able to knock the ball loose. Peoples all the way from the top of your screen, 58. He keeps working, keeps working. There he comes, and he gets the strip.
And there's Melton, who that's an alert move. Sometimes that can backfire, but not this time. And then Mitchell takes off.
Well, Saskatchewan took advantage of the Reggie Hunt strip ball in the second quarter when Dickinson fumbled with a touchdown, and see if they can do it again. Oh my.
Almost picked off. Almost picked off. Carl Kidd would have been pickoff number 4 on the season. That one going for Corey Holmes, but wasn't even close. That was one of Nealon Green's worst tosses of the night. Now it will be 2nd and 10 from the 21.
Carl Kidd has broken fingers on each hand, and you'll see that both casts right there. Probably one of the reasons why he couldn't hang on to that potential interception.
Hard to hang off. From the 16, Green again, over the middle. Catch made by Jason French. And that will be very close to a first down near the 6-yard line, and it will all depend on the spot here. And they just might come up a little shy here.
Good call on the goal line, anticipating man-to-man coverage. Try to get one of your slot backs in a chase mode. They do. Tony Walker does a nice job to stay with Jason French, but he comes up just a little bit short. So it's gut wrench time for head coach Danny Barrett.
It's a big yard.
Oh, it's a very large yard.
Bringing in Chris Zarka.
Well, the key is he's got a good short yardage offense. Chris Zarka, terrific fullback in these situations, either carrying the ball or lead blocking for Kenton Keith, but this is a big play.
3rd and 1, a big one from the 7. Zarka in motion, Green keeping, and oh, does he get it? Again, this could depend on the spot.
Well, wow, they really let that play evolve, because Nealon Green was stopped and then he gained, it looked like, at least another half yard. We'll come back with a good pit look here. You'll see the surge.
I don't know if they got it. They had to get to about pretty close to the 6.
Well, initially he didn't have it, but they let the play continue and he just kept fighting forward.
And they do.
Oh my.
By just a nose. So the Riders will go first and goal again. And yeah, Nealon Green's persistence kept churning.
That was an extra half yard. They let him keep going, and no question they'd stopped him initially, but it doesn't matter. They got a new set of downs.
Last time they were in the red zone, first and goal. Green took it himself to the end zone. This time Holmes, touchdown Riders. And they get the first lead of the ball game here in the third quarter. Good call. A couple of good calls from the Riders that finds the end zone again.
Well, this is interesting because late in the second quarter, Nealon Green faked the handoff and scored himself. This time, they're thinking Green to the outside. He gives it to Corey Holmes inside. A big opening. Ray Jacobs, the defensive end, did not close down. He was playing Nealon Green, and that was a pretty easy trip into the end zone. But, you know, that was set up by the other touchdown. Green scored himself.
Can't say enough on that possession for the Riders about the job that the offensive line did. And certainly the turnover so costly. The Dickinson fumble after Nealon Green had fumbled. And Jackie Mitchell's return after the lateral, and Corey Holmes takes it in.
Well, 14 Rider points off turnovers tonight.
17-14 now, their first lead.
Boy, sorry, Rod, go back to that board. Look at Ray Jacobs to the top of your screen. He's playing Nealon Green. See him stop right there, freeze him. Nealon Green's looking right at him. He says, if you want to play me, I hand off to my running back, and he's got a great seam. See how that works? Pretty easy.
Again, look at the blocking provided by the big guys up front.
This was Saskatchewan. We love y'all. Saskatchewan.
Oh, they're playing with heart tonight. The Riders, after a slow start. High kick. Bounces in front of Simon. G. Simon avoids a couple of tackles. 47-yard kickoff. G. Simon, one of the most electrifying players in the Canadian Football League, and now back to work with Dave Dickinson. So turnovers are costly here tonight for both teams. 5:15 to go in the third quarter. Lots of time left. 29,700 plus here tonight in BC Place. Biggest crowd of the season, biggest since farewell to Louis Passaglia night. And next year they're talking about taking the curtains off on the upper bowl and maybe putting some people up there. Wouldn't that be something? Dickinson trying to air it out, but he is brought down in a big way in the backfield. Another big play by Nate Davis.
And Nate Davis has played well in 2 games previously against BC this year. He has a couple of sacks. That's his 9th now on the season. And again, against a drop back quarterback, your 2 tackles have to push the pocket, and Nate Davis kept pushing and pushing. Look at that. He pushes Ben Fairbrother, a terrific guard, right back into Dave Dickinson, comes up with a sack. He's a big load, and when he decides he's going to push that pocket, he can do it.
A defense that was very erratic in their first 14 games, but over the last 3 weeks and tonight, pretty sharp. Out pattern, catch made by Brazel.
Wow.
He laid out and caught that one. Beautiful play by the Lions.
I mean, that's tough. You're 2nd and 15. I mean, those aren't situations you convert too often, but that time Dickinson made it look rather easy. A 3-man rush. Lots of time for Dickinson to step up into the pocket, and Chris Brazel stretches out with a nice catch, and the Lions move the chains once again.
BC Lions, make no mistake, this is a team that wants to host the West semifinal next weekend. They want to play here in their hood, but they have to beat the Riders tonight. Harris Jackson, his 2nd reception of the evening. Again, a former star at Carson Gray. I'm pretty sure that's where Suits played. Glenn Suter. A lot of good ball players came out of Carson Graham's secondary. Yeah, Grant Glensutter confirmed that he played there. Suits and John Wells tomorrow on TSN. Final game of the season for our TSN crew. 3.5 minutes to go. Third quarter, 2nd and 6 for Dickinson and the Lions. And Brazel again. Chris Brazel with some dazzle. Another BC first down.
Rod, early in the year, the first half of the season, they really weren't getting the ball to Chris Brazel that much. I think they were trying to just get used to him since he came over as a free agent. But in the second half of the season, he's been brilliant at efforts like that. I mean, he really sold himself out there, took it a short pass and turned it into a first down. But he's been electrifying in the last half of this season.
From the 39. There's some razzle-dazzle. Geroy Simon's throwing the football, and the catch is made, and it's dropped. That was some razzle-dazzle to Brazel that eventually fizzled. How about this play?
Well, Geroy Simon's already thrown 1 touchdown pass this season, and it was a great time to do it. Little fake. Now the reverse to Geroy Simon. That's the hit on Cotola as he tried to lateral the ball, but Brazel at the end made a great effort to make this catch.
I thought he had it.
Well, the ball just hung up a little bit too long. And you'll see, I mean, double coverage and all that. Initially he was wide open, but Geroy Simon just couldn't get the ball to him.
But the march to the cup begins in earnest next week.
Oh my.
Oh, and flags will fly. So now it'll be 2nd and 5.
Watch to the right of your screen. There's Bobby Perry. I mean, he could have taken the direct snap himself.
From the 34. Shotgun for Dickinson. Over the middle. And there's the Regina native, Claremont. Big play for the Lions again.
I sure like the way Jason Claremont plays this game. I mean, for you folks in Saskatchewan, does he not remind you of Ray Elgard, the way he comes over the middle, 6'4", 230 pounds? They were so similar, have great soft hands up, making that catch and picking up a needed first down. But Jason Claremont missed the first 4 games of the season. He has come back to add 7 touchdowns and be a total integral part of this successful BC offense.
The outstanding Canadian nominee, Dickinson. Time out of the pocket, deep in the end zone, and could not find his favorite target, Mr. Simon. It'll be 2nd and goal. Lions trailing 17-14.
Initial great coverage by the Riders secondary. They don't get the big push. Nate Davis comes late, but Geroy Simon, now the fun starts. He saw his quarterback in trouble, went to the corner, and Dickinson just overthrew him. But boy, when you get that amount of time with the kind of receivers BC has, I mean, that is just a tall order down in the goal line red zone situation to stay with your guy man to man.
See what happens now. Cotola has a couple of touchdowns here tonight. Dickinson in some trouble, and he's brought down. And that will bring out Curtis Head and the field goal kicking team. Shante Peoples in on the tackle.
Slowly, the Rough Rider front four has been starting to get more and more pressure on Dickinson, and it's been the 2 tackles, mostly Davis, and then Terrence Melton coming up the middle. He's going to help and make the tackle. Shante Peoples, 58, in on the play. And I mean, that's a big stop. I mean, BC's really been pretty smooth in these situations tonight, but you get the stop and at least possibly hold them just to a field goal.
This one will come from the 18-yard line. Ahead to tie the game, and he does. We are all square at 17 with 20 seconds left in the third quarter in front of a boisterous crowd here. Over the last couple of days, Wally Buono's been trying to prepare his Lions for this very big game. This is their biggest game of the year until next week, of course. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, they had a walkthrough here at BC Place, and they brought in the tapes of some crowd noise and amplified it to to recreate game-like conditions.
I thought it was a smart move, and Wally's certainly a guy that doesn't miss too many tricks, and he had the loudspeakers blaring and let his players just go on silent counts, and great preparation.
It is now Wally's world here in BC.
And it's been a good world. The players like it. They like the discipline that he brings, the preparation that he brings, so it's been a very good marriage.
Here's Corey Grant on the return, still on his feet. And the Coreys have been good tonight, Grant and Holmes. 11 seconds left in the third quarter. By the way, if there is a tie here tonight, if the Lions tie, they will still finish second.
Yeah, I think tie is the same as win.
Tie is win.
Now. Yeah.
So a dream team night here for the BC Lions, honoring greats of their past, trying to pave their way to hosting next weekend at BC Place. Final play, third quarter, barring penalty. Green out of the pocket, up the middle, and lost the football again. No, he's down.
He was down.
The officials say he was down.
No question.
Much to the chagrin of the BC Lions and their faithful, but close to a first down. And that is the third quarter. Good third quarter for Nealon Green and the Riders, as they and the BC Lions are currently tied at 17 heading into the fourth quarter. It is a very valid argument. Let's say a year happens where the second place team in the East finishes, for whatever reason, 5-13, and the records are very good in the West. Why not have the crossover team host that game, make that crossover game based on their records, and that team gets home field advantage? Now, there could be an argument to say, you know, well, Toronto also deserves.
Well, I'm going to tell you the flaw with, I mean, there's going to be flaws in every proposal.
Kenton Keith is out of bounds. First play here in the fourth quarter.
And I'm going to just, I had an interesting chat with Tom Wright, our commissioner, about that last night. And the great flaw would always be is you really want to try desperately to keep East-West format. I mean, that's the way the league's always been.
You do.
That's the heritage, that's the tradition of the league. And I think to take this step of the fourth place, having more points than the third place, is a nice consolation for somebody that's had a pretty good season out west. And I really don't want to see it go any farther than that, personally.
I would agree with you on that. Nealon Green in the shotgun. Good play here to Dominguez, close to a first down. And to validate that point even more, you would suggest that that could happen to the West some year too.
Hey,
and those games that you play against your division are very, very big games, and those could skew the standings in either division. Here are the third quarter numbers.
But BC really dominating in time of possession. I mean, we've got a tie game here. Turnovers even. I mean, it's an even game. 17 all league. Not that much to choose from in the rushing department there.
209 yards. Lions actually outrushing the Riders, but in fact they outrushed the Riders on average this season. So you know that they can run the football, especially with Calvin Anderson, and that will get the first down for Saskatchewan. Again, the Riders have also had BC's number this year. 2 wins, a win tonight with a sweep. This being the only game they've played in BC Place. The Riders could send BC packing to play Toronto next week. Inside to Corey Holmes, and he will pick up 4 yards. Corey Holmes has had some foot problems this year. No problems tonight, though.
Yeah, I like the way they're using Corey Holmes, too. He's essentially a slot back in this scheme, but they have no reservations about sliding him into the backfield and using him as a running back as well. And I think it's added a nice little dimension to Danny Barrett's offense tonight.
Richardson wide right, Dominguez wide left. In the shotgun, Green for Richardson. Too high for him.
So Tony Walker's played a pretty good game on defense for the BC Lions. That's really, as you look at the Lions, and you mentioned it earlier, Rod, I mean, if you're going to attack the secondary, you go to their inside guys, Walker and Jason Bray. Bray with an interception tonight, but boy, I'll tell you, Tony Walker a couple of times has been in perfect man-to-man coverage. He was there on Jamal Richardson. Look at this. He's right there with a nice tip. But what's usually been a tough area for the Lions tonight has been actually a strength.
Paul McCallum for 46. He is 38 of 42 this season. Outstanding numbers for the Rider kicker.
Hope he kicks it better than when he hit me.
1 for 1 tonight. This to put the Riders on top again. A line drive that is right through like a laser beam. McCallum again, now 39 of 43 on the season. And the Riders lead 20-17. Numbers all year long, but against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they have found a way to put the clamps on Dickinson. And this one sending Cotolo back. He's taken one back already tonight, a punt. But he only gets to the 26-yard line this time. 18-yard return. Dickinson might be in Regina anyway for awards night, depending on how the voting goes. Biggest award he wants is that Grey Cup. Got the Stampeders to the 99 Grey Cup. Was the most outstanding player in the CFL in 2000. 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Looking to his left, just a little dump pass, a little pitch to Lyle Green. So again, let's take a look at those nominees. Dickinson with a great chance as the outstanding player. Baron Simpson will certainly garner a number of votes.
Yeah, I think Frank Cotolo was his rookie too.
Maybe really would have helped himself tonight. Jason Claremont, last year's Rookie of the Year. Curtis Head is the special teams representative, the nominee for the Lions. 2nd and 4 again for Dickinson and the Lions. To the right side. Leroy Simon, another catch for BC here tonight. It's a guy you got to really shut down.
Pretty tough to get pressure on Dave Dickinson on a 3-step and very quick release kind of pass play. Leroy Simon to the outside. I mean, that's solid coverage by Eddie Davis. I mean, that's something you just can't stop. And if, you know, what you say is, I mean, if you guys can do this all the way down the field, good for you.
1st and 10 from the 40. They have not run the football very much in the second half. Play action. Wide open is Claremont. Actually takes it up for about a 16-yard gain for Claremont. So the Lions moving the ball again.
And again, it's the play action that really makes this work, because it freezes the inside halfbacks, it freezes the outside linebackers, and there's nobody to pick up Jason Claremont to the outside. You see desperately Jackie Mitchell, 24, trying to get out there, but the play action held him long enough that Claremont, by the time he was able to catch the football, had lots of room to run.
Well, another Rough Rider is on the field and hurt, and for another injury update, let's go down to Farhan. Farhan.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Shante Peoples. Like you mentioned earlier, Rod, he was favoring his shoulder. He came out again with the same injury. They're just letting it settle down for a few plays, and they expect he'll return. As for Nealon Green, the last time he took a hit by Herman Smith, he suffered a bruised sternum. So he's taking some extra throws on the sideline, just trying to work that out, but he too will come back.
There's Peoples. You saw Nealon Green. 1st and 10 for Dickinson. Shotgun again. Claremont's been one of his weapons here in the second half. Cotolo down the sideline. Dickinson goes over the middle and no one's there. And Frank Cotolo was wide open on the left side. He was looking for Brazel.
Dave Dickinson has not been reluctant whatsoever to go and try and stretch this Saskatchewan defense tonight. This must be at least the 8th time that he's tried to go over the top. And good coverage. I mean, that's quite a matchup. Chris Brazel on the linebacker, Jackie Mitchell. Mitchell was there step for step.
He looked left for a moment, and if he had looked a little longer, he might have found Cutolo for his 3rd touchdown. There's Brazel. Just became a father in the last couple of days. Looking for Brazel, one-on-one, wide open. Brazel, what a catch! What a catch! Down to the 10. Another huge play for the BC Lions. Dickinson to Brazel, who's hurt.
He went down about 12 yards, made a little move to the outside, and then broke to the post. It froze Omar Morgan to the outside, and then it was a matter of could Dickinson complete it. And Brazel stretched and laid out, and that is a whale of a catch. Look how open he was, but a little out move froze Omar Morgan, and then there was nobody to help deep.
Well, Brazel has 85 yards in receiving tonight, 6 catches.
Dickinson was looking at him all the way, and Brazel probably said to him, look, I've run some outs, I've run some outs. I got him set up for my favorite move here, and he gave it to him and was wide open.
3-point Rider lead. Inside 10 minutes, 4th quarter. Now Calvin Anderson in the backfield. Dickinson to the air. And is that a catch? Yes, they say it is. To Brett Anderson.
Brett Anderson's a guy that's not used much, but he's a quality receiver and a great guy to bring in as your 5th or 6th guy, and he makes a pretty difficult catch right here.
Tight little curl, and boy, did he ever make a nice grab. So it will be 2nd and 6. Claremont to his left, Cutolo to his right. Anderson in the backfield, looking to his left is Dickinson, end zone. And looking for Anderson again. Anderson looking for a flag.
Well, I think he just got tangled up with his own feet there. Coverage by Devin Bush. Crowd doesn't like it, but I really don't think Devin Bush interfered with him at all. There you see Brett Anderson just kind of tripped over his own feet.
And no chance to get to the football, and so Curtis Head from 15 yards away will try to lock the game again, and again, win or tie, the BC Lions will get 2nd place in the CFL West. And that one is through, and it is 20-all now with 8:34 to go in the 4th quarter. BC Lions celebrating their 50th anniversary. Their first Grey Cup came back in '64. Tonight they celebrated the anniversary by naming their all-time dream team. Well, lots of time left. Been quite a football game here tonight. Seen some big plays, some big defensive plays, some key turnovers. And the BC Lions want this win. So too the Roughriders. They'll stay in the West. Otherwise, a loss, and they go over to crossover with the Eastern teams. 40-yard kickoff, a return of 12. Nealon Green still on the sidelines.
He fell, I got a report, he fell on the football and has had some difficulty breathing, so we're not sure if he will be back in. Kevin Glenn, it's his game to try to pull up. Boy, we're getting lots of help here tonight. It's just great to have all these great Saskatchewan people up in the booth with us.
Tom Shepard is a spotter with us tonight.
This guy is everywhere. I mean, he's everywhere.
Well, if another quarterback goes down, he might be playing.
Ooh.
53% passing for Glenn. Touchdown and 4 interceptions so far this season. And also, of course, the Riders have Henry Burris. Number of fine QBs. Their guy, though, is Nealon Green. Make no mistake about it. Right now, Nealon is hurting and crouching on the sidelines. They're going to throw again. whether it's Green or Glenn. In the flat. Catch made by Dominguez and a penalty flag. Well, the call is against the Roughriders. It is 1st and 20, so that play nullified. Glenn throwing again. Catch made by Travis Moore. Huge play by Kevin Glenn and Travis Moore. They connect, and they'll move the football.
Travis Moore really not used very much here in the second half. Made a couple of nice catches in the first half, but once again, that spread offense creates some seams and some openings, and BC Lions on 2nd and 20, you know, they're better off playing tight man-to-man. They sit back in that zone, and guys like Travis Moore can read that all night long.
30-yard pickup to the 41. Play action to Zarka. Glenn keeps. Squirms for about 5. $20 all here in the 4th quarter. 7 minutes to play. And it is loud in here in BC Place. Loudest crowd, biggest crowd of the year, calling for defense. Kenton Keith wrapped up. Eric Carter was right there. And speaking of dream teamers, Eric Carter, the only active player who was named to that all-time dream team tonight for the BC Lions.
Yeah, and Eric Carter and the entire BC defense, I think, really fooled Kevin Glenn here. Normally, you don't see a corner roll up on 2nd down here. It's usually man-to-man with BC, but Eric Carter rather rolled up so quickly on Kenton Keith here. They had no chance to get to the outside. And, you know, this is going to be a long one for Paul McCallum to try to take the lead here. This was almost 50 yards, this kick. Now, he can do it. I mean, his longest this year has been 57, so leg strength is not a problem for him.
Well, 2 years ago, he hit the CFL's longest, 62 yards.
Oh, he nailed this one.
This one's up, and it's good.
That's a great kick. Well done.
Paul McCallum, 3 for 3 here tonight.
That's the great thing right in your screen. Well, you just saw that fan about the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You fans in Regina and Saskatchewan rather know it. You've got fans in every park in the city, more than any other team in the CFL. There's green at every game in every park.
I bet you there's got to be about 4,000 to 5,000 here tonight who have an affiliation with the Riders, and maybe this is a Saskatchewan fan who made the trek here.
Some of the more well-dressed ones that made the trip.
The retro green look. 23-20 Saskatchewan. And up the middle, Calvin Anderson was used early, but not in the second half. Speaking of McCallum, though, 2 years ago, 2 days from now, is the anniversary of that kick. 62 yards, longest ever. Of the 4 or 5 longest kicks ever in CFL history, 4 of them have been by Saskatchewan Roughrider kickers, and 4 of them have been in Taylor Field. Might say something also about the wind at Taylor Field.
I was just going to say, there's usually a little breeze blowing in Taylor Field.
McCallum with a huge kick here tonight. He's been a factor. Dickinson facing some pressure. Guess who's back in the ball game?
And he has played well. Nate Davis, boy, you can't say enough good things about him. He got off to such a great start this year. Was right up with the league leaders early in the season in sacks, and then he got hurt. And he missed some games. He's a big man, and watch him push the pocket just to the right side of your screen there. Here he comes. They're just not quick enough in slide protection, and when you get 325 rolling upfield with nobody blocking you, pretty tough for the quarterback to get away from it. But Nate Davis, you look at heroes on this team tonight, he sure has been one.
Well, here's a big play now in the game, maybe the biggest. 2nd and 17 for Dickinson. He's always seemed to be able to get them out of a hole. Throws it over the middle. But wrapped up is Frank Cotolo. And the Lions are going to have to kick it away.
Now, I'll tell you who else has played well is Devin Bush. He has a fumble recovery, but he's done a super job. And the CFL so many times on second down situations, you know you're going to get man-to-man, and every offense likes to have defensive backs chase their receivers across the field. Well, Devin Bush stayed right with Cotolo all the way across. Look at the effort right there. He can't knock it down, but he closes the gap to make the tackle. BC will punt. And remember, BC would love a tie. Tie is good for them. That's a good thing. That gets him home field in the playoffs for the semifinal.
Bounces in front of Corey Holmes, and it's out at the 29-yard line. And that's where Kevin Glenn and the Riders will go back to work again. And these Riders want to win this game, it's obvious, and have some momentum to carry them to Winnipeg next week. Glenn, no one there, and thrown out of bounds. It's interesting, though, it is a very late game, the West semifinal last week. If it was in BC, I believe that's a 4 o'clock start here. If it's in Winnipeg, it is a 6 o'clock start in Winnipeg next week. And you know, if you watch today's game, it was a little cool there. Sorry, it was frigid there.
It was very cold there, and that's a good point. I mean, if Winnipeg hosts it, it's 6, and this is a chilly time of the year in the Peg.
And how much,
as you well know.
Yeah. How much fun would it be, though, to have a lot of Rider fans out in Winnipeg next weekend? You know that's going to happen. Glenn runs, scrambles in and out of the hands of Corey Grant, but it could be a roughing the passer call, and it's going to be. It looks like Glenn is limping now. Flag in the backfield.
Well, Carl Kidd came in late, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going to catch a break here. They're going to get an automatic first down. Looking down at the left of your screen, you're going to see Carl Kidd, number 26, come in late. The ball is gone. They've got to protect the quarterbacks. Look at this. Well, you don't see quite the end of it, but trust me, it's 15 yards and a first down.
So 1st and 10 from the Rider 44. Kevin Glenn is in the backfield, trying to move it. Taking the handoff is Keith. But that's Corey Holmes, rather. Tyrone Williams, the tackle. Corey Holmes, one of the touchdowns, a big one that put the Riders ahead for the first time in the 3rd quarter. How big was that touchdown, though, by Nealon Green heading into the locker room for the Riders? They've carried the momentum since.
Well, it was, and it was off a turnover, too, which is, you know, so much more gratifying to take advantage of that. In fact, we talked about it. Of the 23 points the Roughriders have scored tonight, 14 have come directly off Dave Dickinson fumbles.
So a timeout on the field. It is the 3-minute warning. 23-20 Roughriders. Riders with the football. Kevin Glenn is sacked. And so now Saskatchewan will have to kick it away with 2:40 to go.
Well, the BC Lions bring a lot of folks up here to try to put some heat on Kevin Glenn. At the top of your screen, a safety blitz. Jason Crumb's coming from the outside, and pressure up the middle. Really no chance for him to get the ball off. He does the smart thing and relies on his punter now to try to get them out of trouble. But a safety blitz and a host of other people, Herman Smith in there as well. So it's going to be up to the Saskatchewan defense to try to protect this 3-point lead.
Cotolo, who took one back already tonight, and G-Roy Simon back for the kick. A wobbler. Cotolo takes it on the fly. Cotolo trying to find his seam, won't get it.
86,
and he's brought down at his 45-yard line.
The impressive thing about Cotolo, though, Rod, is so many guys wouldn't have the confidence to come up and make that catch. You know, they let the ball bounce and take the safe way, but he saved his team maybe a bunch of yards by doing that. I mean, I can't say enough about Cotolo, and I mean, to me, there's not another rookie in the Western Conference who's played better than him.
Well, here we go. 2:10 left. And it will determine whether the BC Lions host the West semifinal next weekend. Dickinson to Brazel. First down will move the chains. Here's what could happen. If BC wins, they clinch second. The Riders go to Toronto. If Saskatchewan wins, they go to Winnipeg. The Lions go to Toronto.
And what we don't show you there is if we go to overtime and the game is tied at the end of that, the BC Lions host the semifinal and Saskatchewan crosses over.
Dickinson, though, doesn't want to play for a tie. He wants to play for the win. And Paris Jackson is knocked out of bounds. Paris Jackson's looked good tonight. The local guy.
Well, they're bringing him along slowly. He's a great specimen, good speed, 6'3", 190. And he came in late. You know, he's going to have to earn his stripes in this offense that has so much firepower. But the opportunity exists with Ryan Thelwell out. So they needed a receiver. He was there. Perfect timing.
Dave Dickinson's got some pretty good weapons. In Brazel and Simon, Claremont, Cutolo. Kelvin Anderson in the backfield. 2nd and 2. He's throwing. Out pattern. There's the first down. Geroy Simon.
First down, BC.
Geroy Simon is one of the big play threats in the CFL. A la Jermaine Copeland, Milt Stiegel, like that. Guys who can break games wide open. Jason Tucker and Ed Hervey in Edmonton.
Boy, a minute 28 and counting, and Dave Dickinson looks awfully comfortable out there right now.
1st and 10 from the 39. Dickinson scrambles. Catch is not made. Incomplete pass. Looking for Cutolo.
And what a play by Ladafius McCalla. He just broke on the football so quickly, and you know that's the real strength of this secondary and their linebackers, that great quickness that the Riders have. And it's starting to get a little nerve-wracking here at BC Place, minute 13.
Again, credit to Saskatchewan Roughriders, a team that came into BC Place knowing full well and probably disheartened after what happened this afternoon. A game that was out of their control. Edmonton losing to Winnipeg. They could have been playing for second tonight, but they're not. Dickinson over the middle. Overthrows Brazel. And this will be a long field goal effort from Curtis Head.
Pretty good pressure that time on Dickinson. Saskatchewan comes with the safety blitz. Darrell Edwards comes. He doesn't get there, but at least forces Dickinson to be on the move and overshoots Brazel over the middle. Well, Curtis Head, the young comer, has been pretty good this year. 41 of 53. His longest 54 yards, so this is well within his range from 46. We'll see how the rookie handles the pressure.
Kick is up. And it's good. We're tied at 23 with a minute to go. Well, the Kickers have put on a show here. And they're on some of the Boy Scouts. You know something? After this game tonight, all those Boy Scouts, I think there's about 3,000 of them.
Sleeping on the field.
They're sleeping on the field tonight. What a thrill for them.
They're having a jamboree here.
But they might not get on that field for quite some time if we go to overtime.
Well, that's a good kick, too, by Curtis Head. So, a minute and 2 to go. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will get it. They know what the task at hand is. They're going to play the hurry-up offense.
And they want to be spoilers. They want to send BC to Toronto. Send themselves to Winnipeg.
Danny Barrett getting his troops ready, indicating we have a timeout. Let's use it when we have to. But let's try to take this kick off and get enough yardage to give our kicker, Paul McCallum, who's had a good night, an opportunity to win this game. What a good kick.
Deep, deep kick. There's Holmes. Out to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, and room. 50-yard line. He's out at the BC 48.
That's for you! That's for you, Corey! That was for you!
So the Riders ramp it up here. 51 seconds to go.
Well, they're 10 yards away, 1 first down away from giving McCallum a chance, and the reason why he may have an opportunity is yet another terrific kick return by Corey Holmes. He's played super on special teams. He's made some good key catches. Let's see what they can do.
And it's all Kevin Glenn's game now. Glenn sidelines. Catch is made. And knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Huge play. Glenn to Dominguez.
We're ready for these playoffs, I'm telling you. Can't stop us.
I guess they're ready for the playoffs. What a way to finish this game tonight. The Roughriders coming back. Matt Dominguez with the sure hands down the sidelines. Wow.
And you know something, a lot of travel companies in Saskatchewan, I think, are hinging a lot on this game too. You know, whether to send all those Riders to Winnipeg or send them to Toronto. Well, it all could come down to this. 44 seconds to go. Riders trying to find the end zone. Handoff. Holmes inside. Already a touchdown and a couple of huge plays here tonight. So 2nd and goal.
Well, now they just want to work the clock, and I'm sure the BC Lions will take a timeout, stop the clock, and try to tackle the football. But really, right now, it's the Roughriders' game to lose.
23 all. 2nd and goal. Dominguez has been a big target. Will Glenn go to him? Goes inside to Keith, who is wrapped up. And that will mean it's up to Paul McCallum, who has been perfect tonight. With 17, he's been perfect tonight. This really a chip shot. Lions will be coming and diving to try to block it. Right through. With 15 seconds to go, Saskatchewan leads 26-23. And Winnipeg, get ready unless the BC Lions can muster something, a miracle with 15. The Bombers and Riders will meet next week, and the Lions will take on the Argonauts. Dickinson airs it. Sidelines. Is there a flag? No flag, and the Lions are irate. And that looked very close to an interference call on Paris Jackson.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, I don't blame Wally for being upset there. I mean, McCallum just ran over Jackson. Jackson's not saying much. You get a good look at
That's
it right
interference.
here. Yeah, I would say so.
That's interference.
I mean, that is huge, because that then put them maybe 1 first down away from a chance.
That was 6 seconds on the clock, too.
That's huge.
So now, really, you got to go for it. 9 seconds.
Well, you need 30 yards.
And you might not be able to get that, and some time for a kick. And look who's in the ballgame. Spurgeon win. Stronger arm, Brazel. And that with 2 seconds to go.
Boy, I'll tell you, Brazel had his hands on that football.
2 to go. And it looks like the Riders will go to Winnipeg. And the Lions will go to Toronto. Wynn throws up a prayer. It's caught, but that's the ball game. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will finish 3rd in the West. Will go to Winnipeg next weekend for the West semifinal, and the BC Lions get swept by the Riders this year.
Unbelievable. The BC Lions will travel to Toronto. Crossover for the Eastern semifinal. The Saskatchewan Roughriders. You fans in Saskatchewan, get ready for a whale of a semifinal a week from tomorrow in Winnipeg. It should be a great game. And Rod, you and I, what a pleasure to do this game back to Saskatchewan tonight. And you're great friends in that great province, and you got a great team.